Queen jack off, I mean, it's a very loose open. I would fold mostly. And then I would only open if there's some recreational in the big blind. I mean, there's a recreational in the small blind, so I don't mind it. But like if this was a regular as well, I would definitely fold. Having a recreational on the button as well is not great because he's going to cold call a bit, which kind of sucks when we're out of position and all. So all in all, I think that folding is fine. Opening is okay as well. But I think I would mostly fold. Like if Zheng Zheng would be in the big blind, then I would call. And then, I mean, like, you get cold call on the button, like I mentioned, which sucks. You have, like, a pretty bad hand. You're off-suited. So, yeah, now, I mean, it's pretty easy fold. Jack 8 off, we should be folding. Maybe except blind versus blind, but we're definitely folding against the 3x. Ace-6 suited, we're going to be playing. ISOing is fine. I would go something like 3.5 big blind. I like it. Like, Gugu haha should not be limping here. Like, the rake is just simply too high. Jack 3 suited, very, very close. Yeah, I mean, like, we could call, we could fold. Again, the rake is really, really high, so I think just folding is fine. So we check the flop here. I'm not a big fan of it. I would prefer betting, to be honest. Like, we have better ace-high to actually be checking. Of course, like, we cannot just say, oh, we have ace-high flush draw, we're always betting. I mean, we still need some ace-high flush draws that we can check sometimes. And then checking the best ones, you know, like the most showdown value ones, I think makes a lot of sense. So like a hand like ace king, ace queen, we can check back. We have like we have a lot of showdown value and all that. A hand like this, where we have like also great backdoor straight draw to like the upper end of the like wheel straight, basically. I think I would just always be betting this one. Always, always. And then exploitatively here, I think the sizing is a bit too big. I mean, we have like the nut flush draw, we have top pair, like we want him to call. So exploitatively here, I would not bet the sizing because I really do want him to call, right? So I would bet probably something like 1/3 to try to target is like 9x, 3x, or like 4x type of hand, and try to put them into a tough spot because I really do want to keep him in the pot. I don't want him to bet big because, I mean, of course, if he has a hand, he's not going to go anywhere. But, like, I still want him to call with, like, a weaker hand because, I mean, we have such a strong hand and yeah, we just want to keep him in. Exploitatively, that's what I would try to be doing here. So I would pick, like, a maybe 1/3 pot or something like that. 3-betting queen 10 suited is going to be the right play here. I like the sizing too. Against a 4-bet, it's mostly going to be a fold. Just because of the fact that like those queen 10 suited, I mean, in this position, it should be a bit wider, but also like he should be 4-betting hands like king queen. He should be 4-betting hands like ace queen. So like now, like, or ace 10 suited. So now like a lot of his bluffs actually dominate you, which kind of really sucks here. So I would prefer like calling maybe a hand like 8-7 suited. And then the better stuff like king queen suited we can still call, but yeah. I like c-betting a lot here. That's fine. We pick it up. King 7 off, I mean, it's right on the borderline, like king 8 can open. Like, then I would just adjust. I mean, we don't have like stats on GG, which kind of sucks, right? 3-4 suited, we can think about. Like, I mean, there's a big blind. There's a regular in the big blind. There's also a short stack player in the small blind. I mean, I think it's close. We could have given it a bit more thought. King 8 suited, we're just gonna fold. I mean, like, we open E3 bets to 8 big blind off like a 36.5 big blind stack or something like that. Like, I mean, we're never gonna call here. We're just gonna rip, like, or like just jam, or I mean, if it makes it really small, like 2 to like 5.5 or 6, fine. I mean, even then it's really not attractive. But like once he makes it 8, I mean, it just makes our life super easy. We just get to fold, and then whenever we want to be playing, we just jam. Ace 3, I mean, we're going to be folding here. So usually opens 2.2, but now opens 2.5. There's a recreational on the button and also on the big blind. I kind of like sizing up. It's fine. Not sure if that's the reason or we just like just a misclick or whatever. Here, I mean, we could do two things, right? Like we could bet, we could check. If we have some read that villain is aggressive, likes big bet sizes, we could definitely go ahead and check raise. I like betting myself. Without the read, I would just bet myself, to be honest. So betting a big size is fine. Something like 66 to 70% is totally fine here. The board is pretty drivey. There's a flush draw. I mean, we're definitely not never folding. That's fine. Jack 9 suited, e call. We could 3-bet sometimes as well. Check raising here is like pretty nice. We have a good shot to the nuts, backdoor straight draw. Plus we block also some 10x of clubs that he's always going to be calling with. And has such an easy continue on club turns and all that. I think calling is fine. I think check raising is also fine. I would be probably check raising this a bit more than calling. I like it. I like the check back with the king 10 top right. He opened, we called, we have showdown value. We're gonna have much worse hands to be bluffing with. We're not folding against a turn half pot. And we're not folding river unless it's like 5 exit. And if he goes like 9, 10, I mean, we're not folding. Yeah, with the half pot, that's fine. Ace 10 off, yeah, I mean, it's not always a 3-bet, but we can definitely be aggressive here. And then, okay, so let's focus on the bottom right, and then we can talk about the other ones. So yeah, so like on that turn, so let's say, I mean, we're gonna have some pocket jacks here. We're gonna have some ace 10 that we bet for value, hands like king 10 as well. Once the turn king gets there and he called, it's not a great turn card for us. When we're gonna be betting, we're gonna be polarized here. So we're gonna be repping like 2 pair. Like we're not betting something like ace 10. We might be betting a hand like king queen suited. I mean, even king queen suited with 3-bet mostly pre-flop. Maybe a hand like king jack. I mean, it's really hard for us to have king x, to be honest, except like king 10. Or maybe a hand like king 9 suited, right? With backdoor flush draw, king high, that type of stuff. But even then, like, do we want to really be betting the turn? And then this could be a pretty nice check on the turn there. So we're really going to be repping, like we're going to have 10-7 suited. We're going to have pocket deuces, pocket 7s. We can have a hand like ace 10, jacks, king 10. I mean, those are the value raises we have on the flop. We don't have 10 deuce suited, 7 deuce suited. We might check raise a hand like king deuce suited on the flop sometimes. but I mean, it's like a very low frequency discounted, and there's only 2 combos out there, so I mean, it's not really that much. So yeah, so when we get like all that is just to say that we're gonna be really polarized when we do bet here with the double gutter here. Like I would tend to be on the more aggressive side. I would expect, yeah. So here, like if we're gonna be betting, I would bet something like 20 big blinds or something like that, 21 big blinds. It's not like we're gonna be betting for thin value with a hand like tens, or not tens, but like ace 10 or jacks. We're gonna be a bit more polarized than that. But I don't like check calling here, so I would just prefer like, yeah, I mean, just betting small. That like the thing is that like when we do bet small, what are we saying? Like we're saying like, okay, this turn is not great, so I want to be betting hands like jacks. I want to be betting hands like ace 10. Like I mean, it not sure it does actually make sense. Like nothing got there. If you have deuces, sevens, 10-7, king 10, I mean your hand is like the nuts, right? So like you want to be putting in money into the pot, basically. So I don't think that sizing makes a whole lot of sense. It's either we go with a really big bet or we check. When we do want to size down, it's when stuff actually gets there. So like a lot of our bluffs actually gets there, so it's hard for us to be bluffing. But here, like if we like nothing got there, so I don't think it makes a whole lot of sense to actually be betting this sizing. Then on the river, I mean, I would just give up. I mean, we still win against some hands. Like he's gonna call hands like ace jack of spade on the flop, ace queen of spade on the flop, and then against a small size, he's still gonna be calling the turn with the gut shot to the nuts, the 1-over, and all that. So we have like just a slightly bit of showdown value, which makes me want to be like we have some EV in checking. So I would just end up checking here. The thing is that like if we were to like overbet the turn, then I don't think we have some EV in checking. I don't mind the sizing there on the river. If we were to bluff, I think it makes some sense to actually be jamming. The problem here is that like why do we bet small on the turn and then 3x jam the river? Like for me, that's where the problem in the hand is. I like the fact that he actually has the balls to actually be 3x jamming the river. But the thing is that I think it should just be bombing turn and then jamming river. Because once we actually bomb turn, like I think his range is going to be much more tighter, basically. Like then our 9x never has any showdown value. But like once we do have like the once we do block the turn, I think it can still have a hand like ace jack, ace queen sometimes that we have a tiny bit of showdown value. Plus we also win against a hand like 8-9, right? So like if he has a hand like 8-9, we actually win at showdown. So like all in all, we have some EV in checking, and then yeah, so like I think it's close. But if we were to bluff, I like the jam, but I would just size up a bit on the turn and then probably end up jamming the river. It's just the turn sizing. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, we can take a look into it a bit later. Jack 9 suited, that should be a high frequency 3-bet pre-flop, so we only called here. Pretty decent hand to actually check raise. We have great backdoor straight draw as well. Fives. I mean, he makes it pretty small, so I don't mind calling. It's not a pure call there, but he makes it very small. On the 10 o'clock, like when the paired 10 gets there, it's not great. I mean, we're definitely gonna be check raising 10x here, like king 10, ace 10 off. We have all those, even a hand sometimes like queen 10 that we can check raise check. Looking to check raise check the turn. Very interesting here. I mean, like once we do bet here, like we're gonna be again polarized. So I think going small makes a whole lot of sense. We're gonna have threes, we're gonna have deuces, we're gonna have 10x. We're not really gonna, like, are we really gonna be value betting a hand like fives that we check raise the flop with sometimes? I mean, of course, a hand like fives can definitely check raise the flop, but on that turn, I don't think we're really gonna be betting. So we're mostly gonna be repping like a strong 10 or better. So I think just going big here is fine. Like we cannot really check call. It's not the best spot, but here, I mean, we're gonna have worse hands to actually be bluffing. I mean, the thing is that, like, I don't expect a side to ever be folding here. So I don't think it's a spot where we're gonna get him to fold quite a bit. So yeah, so we're gonna have like worse hands to actually be, like once we give up the turn, I think we can give up the river. I think it's okay. Like we're targeting like what are we repping basically once we do. The thing is that, like, let me just think about it. Yeah, I mean, we're not repping a whole lot here, so just giving up I think is fine. Like I don't even like think that ace high ever folds here. King 3, it's a fold. King 10 off, same thing. Like in the big blind against a 2.1x, we're always going to be calling. Against like a 2.5 from under the gun, like we mentioned previously, now it gets like very close, and I can even see myself folding. And yeah, there was the ace 10 off here. But I think we barreled the flop and called, and then the turn was the turn 10, so we had trips with the top kicker, and we bet again and he folded. So yeah. So here, I mean, we make a loose 3-bet, but he's a recreational. We want to be ISOing. His VPIP seems high. So yeah, I like it. I'll be 3-betting. I think that's a bit too tight. Like we should be 3-betting here, getting heads up. You just 3-bet to like 8 bigs. You're in position. Against a half pot size, we're going to be calling. And here on the right, I mean, we bet the flop 1/3, he called. I mean, like, this is a type of like hand that's fine to be double and barreling on flush runouts and all that. But I mean, against like recreational, I don't like to make those elaborate bluffs. Like, oh yes, of course we need to be like having those into our range because, like, you know, on flush runouts we need to have bluffs, right? But like, if he has a hand that he's gonna call, like he's still gonna call when the flush gets there. Like those recreational, especially those higher VPIP ones, don't like to fold. So like trying to like make less of those like very elaborate bluffs that makes a lot of sense against like regulars and all that. I try to tone that down a bit. So like on the turn here, I mean, we have a gut shot. we have the ace of club. We can check some ace king sometimes and then bet this one. But again, we're already loosening up our 3-betting range, so like we have to make sure that we're not overdoing it. And against a half pot on table 2, I think folding is fine. I mean, if I didn't see that was a 3, so I mean, like the thing is that he still bet. I mean, he bets half pot. I mean, it's kind of whatever, to be honest. Is he just betting an ace here, looking to check the river? He's gonna have plenty of pairs. He's also gonna have some boats already. I think it's a tight fold. Not sure why we do overbet here. I mean, it's. And then now, I mean, like, we have to bluff the river, right? But again, like, it's not a spot where I really like making those elaborate bluffs and all. But like now that we bet the turn, like we have the perfect river, we might make him fold like a hand like Jack 10. We block Jack 10 suited, but like we might make him fold like Jack X. We don't block Queen X really, except for like Queen 10 suited. Also, like he might have like Queen 8 suited and he's just not folding, you know? So like this is why, like on the turn, I would probably just end up checking. Yeah, I mean, again, like I don't have that much read on him, but he seems like a recreational. He has that. I mean, it's maybe really small samples, but yeah, very gross spot by the river, to be honest. Also, he can have plenty, like he can have flushes, you know, like 7x of clubs. He can have like really bad hands, he can call like 8-5 suited type of stuff out of position. Now that he tanks, it's pretty nice. But again, like on this river, I think we have to bluff, but we just have to be careful because making those elaborate bluffs against like big stations that just don't care, like it's kind of tricky. So what I would do here, we'll talk about this hand afterwards. So he folded. So now I like the barrel on the river. On the turn, I think it's very close and would probably end up checking. So here he bets like on the smaller side, medium side, like turn and river. So what I would do is I would take a note that like he's pretty face up with his sizing. You know, he bets ace high on the turn with the like a half pot size and then block size on the river with the same thing. So basically, like I would just put a note that he has face up sizing towards like once he bets medium size, it's a medium straight hand. If we take a look here, we ISO'd, I think, let me just check. So yeah, so we ISO'd, he limped, we bet half pot, he's gonna check call. And then on the turn, like I wouldn't even mind betting small again, you know, because like we can definitely get called by words for showdown value. I also think that he might check raise some like stronger hands on the flop. But I don't mind the check. I mean, and then I would tend to like bluff catch pretty wide on the river. I wouldn't even mind going like for a block again on the turn. He's gonna call like weaker ace-x for sure, but I do like checking as well. And then I would not be folding except if he like just jams. If he bets like 13, like I would not be folding here. Eight seven, we can 3-bet here against a recreational. We want to ISO him, play a potted position. Yeah, so I like the call. He has a set, good for him. So I would take a note there. Limp calls, pocket deuces under the gun. Check calls, flop set. So yes, good. 6-8 suited, too loose to be trying to ISO. So I like his note. Well done. It's pretty precise, it's short, it's clear. I like it. Let's do another like 10 minutes and we can wrap things up. Ace-8 off, we're gonna be playing, but it gets folded. Same thing, Ace-8 off, it's a fold. Jack-9 suited, we're gonna be playing. Okay. So we see that like here, yeah, we have to. King-3 off to lose. 3-5 suited, we would have opened if it got folded to us. I think calling would be a bit too loose here. I would call pretty much any pocket pair, like from like deuces to like, he also min open. So I would call pretty wide here with the 2 recreational in the small blind and big blind. But I think this just like be a bit too weak. I would flat hands like King-7 suited, King-6 suited, like those type of stuff, like Queen-8 suited. Okay, just gonna try to see. So Ace-Queen suited, nice hand. We're gonna be 3-betting. Yeah, against the short stack, I like the fold. I mean, he only has 40 bigs, so I mean, we're not calling is not an option. 4-betting is a bit too aggressive. This is pretty funny. So like, he actually cold calls. I mean, like, this is. I mean, we have Ace-King. Like, we're not folding. Like, what is he cold calling here with? Like, I could see him cold calling with aces and stuff like that, but like I mean, with Ace-King, we're never folding. Like maybe he misclicked too. You know, he thought it was like a raise and a call, and then he just clicked call, and then it was like 12 big blinds, something like that. So it can be anything. I wouldn't put my mind into it, any thoughts into it. I could see people doing that with aces, but I mean, we have Ace-King. We're not ever folding. 4-9 off, we're going to be folding table 1. Yes, tens. Interesting. He should be just go 4-betting there. And he locks it up on the turn. Yeah. I like the fact that he actually using a mixed strategy here. If you try to, like, when you're trying to decide like what type of strategy you need to be using, try to think about like how good the board is for big blind, and how many quality draws he has. So like, he's gonna have hands like Jack 10 off, King 10 off, king jack off. So that's a ton of gut shot or open enders because he has the offsuit versions. He's still gonna have hands like 7-8 suited, but he should be three-betting those pre-flop. He might he should not really call 7-8 off, but I see people call defend those type of hands. So those boards, but he's gonna have also hands like 8-10 suited, 8-5 suited, 7-5 suited that has backdoor flush draw, gut shot. So it's not like we can just get rid of him easily by just betting small, basically. Against a pot, if I had a diamond, I would potentially call here. But here, I think to be honest, it's fine with the nut gut shot. The thing is that I do think that people will be under bluffing a bit. With king high, he might even be turning better hands into a bluff. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, this is very close. This king high, it feels right on the borderline. I mean, of course, if you know you're gonna make the nuts on the river, that's great. But yeah, I mean, it feels like against a smaller bet, fine. Against a pot size bet, I think I would potentially only continue with diamonds so that on diamond runouts I can actually bluff. And then pretty nice. So we're gonna be raising. With ace king here, I would be 95% of the time for betting, maybe a 10% I call. And then as far as sizing, I would size down just a bit, maybe go somewhere 22.5 bigs, something like that. Yeah, I like the call here with the ace deuce suited, with the two recreational behind. Yeah, so we're gonna be defending against the min 3-bet. Let's go back to the other hand. So what did we have? We had ace king versus ace king, and here the flop went check check. Yeah, so on the turn with the gut shot against a half pot, I think is fine. He can still have worse hand that he can have in his range. He can have hands like queen 10, queen jack, 9-10, jack 10 type of stuff. So our ace high might be good, plus we have a gutter, plus we have some one overcard. Then if he bets again, I think we're just folding. Let's do one last interesting hand, and we can wrap it up. I think jack 8, that's pretty nice. I'm not sure how he actually 10 called there, to be honest, but yeah. I think our member played very well. All right, so let's just wrap it up right now. So all in all, I think our member played very well. I mean, the games look really good. He seems to have a well-established base, basically. He has some labels for his tables. He seems to be table selecting very well. He seems aware also of how to adjust his strategy depending on having a cold call range and all that type of stuff. So I think that I always say villain, but I really do think that our member played very well. We had some interesting action. So if you guys got any questions about this, just hit me up in the forum. I'll be more than happy to take a look over it. So I'm gonna wish you guys luck and see you next time.